my face. We're gonna do something a little bit differently today. I'm gonna be doing a ranking video. Well, there's already a million of those on YouTube, so it's not really new. But I will be ranking all of the songs on the first Silver Scream album by Ice Nine Kills. Hey, good evening, Nick here, because recording Nick forgot to say this. I will be doing not the Silver Scream final cut, but the initial 2018 release. So know your numbers up. I'm doing this ranking because pretty much every song in that album is good, and there's a bit to talk about for each one. So should be fun. I'll be doing the ranking based on, of course, how good the song is, and as well as to somewhat of a lesser extent, how well it represents the movie that's based on. For those of you unaware, the Silver Scream is an album where each song is based on a horror movie. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's an amazing album, especially if you actually do like metal. So yeah, let's go.
What's that on your face? Oh!
So in an album full of songs where each one's based on a movie, you ideally want the songs to represent that movie in terms of its tone and content of the movie. Savages doesn't do that. Now don't get me wrong, Savages is a good song. It's not a bad song. There are no bad songs on this album. They're all great, but this song is probably the most easygoing, high energy metalcore anthem on this album. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not that. It is a slow-paced descent into madness as the characters discover the horrors within the Sawyer house. An upbeat kind of generic metalcore anthem doesn't really represent that. So we're putting this one at the bottom slot of the list. It does get points for using the camera sound effect though. That's pretty sweet. Sorry Rob Zombie, this one just flies under the rest. While it matches the messaging of Devil's Rejects, which is the movie it's based on, pretty well by representing the misfits and the outcasts. The song itself is just another metalcore anthem with kind of cheesy lyrics and has the same problems as Savages, really. Good vocals and riffs and drums though, like it's good song. There are no bad songs, but this one just pales in comparison to the rest of them. Okay, those two were the easiest rankings. From here up, it's gonna get really hard because saying whether one song is better than the other when they're all great is difficult. It's gonna be like judging top 12 drum corps. It's like down to the wire, like super close, place to place. Bear with me.
I will take such loving care of this wonderful little gift, and when you wake up well rested, your precious little baby will be smiling as bright as the sun. It's dead.
Alright, the world in my hands. I don't like the idea of this one being so low because I do like the song, but that's just the nature of rankings. There's gotta be something low. I really like the creepy vibes of the verses and how it's from Edward Scissorhands' perspective. You really feel for him. It's got some pretty sick riffs. It's got a very cool solo, and it's more melodic and emotional than just straight shredding. But what brings it down for me is that lack of heaviness. Again, good song in the grand scheme of things. This is a really good song, but compared to the rest, not quite there. Man, why is there so many good songs? I want to see Little Bites at number 10. Okay, I love the duet element towards the end. This one focuses more on the emotion and being heavy, which I do actually like in this song, because it's the clear intention. It's supposed to be like a metal ballad. Spencer's vocals are on point, and I like that chorus. And as we get higher, you'll see how much I value those choruses. What brings it down is the energy. There's a better ballad on this album that you'll see when we get higher. This one's just not up there. Great song, competition's just too tough. Alright, now we're getting heavy. This one's bridge is probably the best on the album, like how it uses the Jaws 2-note leitmotif. Dun, 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 dun. And it builds up from nothing. Also that one fill during the breakdown. tasty. I don't know if it was Connor or Patrick who wrote that, but yeah, great. The lyrics referencing the movie are kind of hit or miss for me. Some of them fit well and others are kind of eh. I do like the voices on the radio though, like between the ship's captain and the Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, this is the York again. We need you out here now.
It's giving some like theatrical elements to it, and that comes up in other songs on the list, and it's an element I do like.
Now I know y'all think old Santa Claus look a little bit darker than he used to, ho ho!
This is number 8. Jesus, like picking between your children. Okay, so this is where the songs start to get really good. This one is one of the heaviest songs on the album, which is hilarious because it's Christmas themed, and it's supposed to be like jolly and whatnot, which I suppose that in of itself represents the movie Silent Night, Deadly Night, which was itself unexpectedly dark. The breakdown goes so hard, that soloed pinch harmonic in the middle is just, that's where it's at. The chorus is what brings it down for me. Again, great song, amazing song, but we got more that just barely edge it out. I can say with confidence that the rest of the songs on this album are absolute bangers, with all of them have choruses that will just light up a stadium.
Eat the brown part of this banana.
I love the Saw franchise. They were like the first horror movies that I really got into. And it kind of shows if you know me.
Hey, editing Nick back here. I was originally gonna put a montage of saw traps, but I kind of like not being age restricted, so yeah.
And this song is great. Chorus, alright, you know, references to the movie. The Hello Zepp in the bridge. It's great. It opens with a tape clicking like we're starting a trap, and then it just hits. Heaviness going full force. Spencer showing off those screaming chops. Amazing song, love it, but we're only halfway done. Things start to get real. Alright, into the Kubrick. The intro with the elevator is a nice nod to the hotel, and then we're just in it. Full band hit, smacking you in the face like an axe. The little bits about the family when it cools off is nice exposition. I love the random vibra slap notes. Those are very nice, and the orchestral instruments add so much. The breakdown is both disturbing and beautiful. Love how the last chorus is slightly different than the others, courtesy of Sam Kubrick. It really adds that extra oomph to the end. One complaint, one tiny little complaint here. The Shining is both a book and a movie. In the book, the haunted room where everything goes down is 217. In the Stanley Kubrick movie, it's 237. One of the hotels that they used to film didn't want 217 in the movie. Ice Nine Kills has an album that's dedicated to books in the same way this one is dedicated to movies. So if this song was on that album, they should have used 217. But here, 237 makes more sense. I get that 217 rhymes with identical scream, but like, okay, yes, I'm a nerd, let's move on.
I'm the Fat Crow. I'm here to help.
Thanks, Fat Crow.
It's what I do.
Oh, hey, it's the Fat Crow song. Yeah, I didn't know the Fat Crow was based on this movie until doing research for this video, so it all makes sense now. Anyway, yes, the ballad. I love songs in 3 and ballads in 3. That's very nice. Piano intro is beautiful. I love how it adds bit by bit, and then when the chorus hits, the guitars and drums come in. That's where it's at. Vocals are on point, even with no screaming in this one. There's still an intensity to them that just really makes the song amazing. Solo is both melodic and emotional, really fits the song. Overall vibe matches The Crow very well, it being a lament on what Draven lost and his revenge. The song is beautiful, and I think it's right where it needs to be. Alright, now we're on to the big boys. The songs I had the most trouble ranking because they're all just so good. The order for 2, 3, and 4 is not as important. I think they're all fairly equal in quality, and they all deserve to be here in the top 4. The original slasher icons, baby. Here we go.
Mother knows.
I kind of feel bad putting this one at the bottom of the big 3 slashers, but when you're this high up, it's not because you're bad, it's just because of the competition. Anyway, I freaking love this song. The campfire opening going to a devastating full band hit, the intensity of the verses telling the story of Jason, Jason's mother giving us some context throughout is really cool, again with those, you know, theatrics, extra voices, and then the breakdown, bop and a half. Final chorus has a sense of finality to it, and that ending has a sort of jump scare with everything dropping out and becoming orchestral. Amazing use of the orchestra throughout, by the way. And then the band coming back in like an explosion. Amazing ending. Overall package is just phenomenal. Worthy the legend that Jason Voorhees is.
That's impossible! You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
How do you portray Michael Myers in a metal song? Like this. This is how you do it. A slow ticking opening into the alarms of an asylum escape, into the band's entrance, perfectly emulating that feeling of seeing him murder all in his path. Michael Myers is an unstoppable force, and this song represents that perfectly in its constant motion, always swiftly transferring to the next devastating section of the song. And that chorus, I will scream that until the day I die. When the hands of fate. The lyrics describing Michael as having the devil's power behind his mask of hate just paints him in such a sinister light, and it fits perfectly. Then the bridge, the frickin' bridge, the voice on the radio over a dissonant alarm sound warning all who was listening that a monster is on the loose. And then the best pre-breakdown call out on the album, maybe period. Still using those alarm sounds and then the stabs with the guitar. That's the best way to describe them. These stabs coming from the band. They also use a part of John Carpenter's score in writing that breakdown. Just a nice little detail. And then that slowdown where they just drop 30 clicks is just so instant and powerful, like turning a corner and then Michael's just there, ready to grab you by the throat and just stick you like a pin cushion. Exactly what Halloween deserves.
Looks like some sort of legally safe knockoff of an 80s horror character with miniature swords for fingers instead of knives.
This one holds a very special place in my heart, because it was the first song that I ever heard from this album. It's what allowed me to discover this album. I was listening to my usual metalcore, and then the Spotify radio function where it plays recommended songs automatically based on the playlist that you've been listening to. It played this very song, and I was enamored by it. The enticing opening just slowly drawing you in with delicate vocals, and then just that first die scream. Like, that's what really makes you realize what kind of song this is. And then the line that kicks everything off, welcome to your worst nightmare. The sweeping 3/4 guitar lick that follows that just feels like you're slipping into that nightmare. And then the tense verse leading into the pre-chorus, probably the best pre-chorus on the whole album. Perfectly building that tension. And then the chorus. Oh my god, the chorus. Perfect. This chorus is the ultimate balance between groovy and sinister. Then there's that just 0 to 100 interlude where we're switching between like delicate whispering and then the most intense screaming on the whole album. Why is this song so good? Why did they make it so good? They had no reason to make this song so good. The girl singing during the pre-breakdown, and then the build-up on the drums, and then they just drop to one of the most devastating parts of the whole album. And then that one line chills every time. And then the final chorus. It's so good. The whole song, while very heavy, also has some amount of playfulness, especially during the choruses, which matches Freddy Krueger and his tendency to play with his victims. You know, crack jokes and whatnot. Great song. Just yes. But there's one more song. One that truly tops this album. Every album needs a good closer. This one has the best closer. When the new version of Stephen King's It came out in 2017, it made headlines. Like it was the biggest horror movie of the year. Everyone was talking about it. Even if it like wasn't the best or scariest horror movie, just everyone knew about it. The amount of Pennywises that year for Halloween was obscene. One thing that was praised as being actually really good was Bill Skarsgård's portrayal of Pennywise. His frantic energy, the way he was always on the verge of lashing out at any moment, it made the movie distinct, and it was honestly the best part. This song is that. The haunting carnival opening of Pennywise introducing himself, just leading into that explosive first hit. And the way the vocals go from, you know, singing straight on to, oh my, just straight screaming during the verse. This is where we first hear the horns in the verse, the trumpets that they actually hired and recorded, which I respect a lot. Instead of just using digital stuff. They didn't have to do that, but they did. The horns add that carnival circus type feel to this Maniac's anthem. The Follow Me section screams are just so well layered and sound just straight guttural. The pun about Georgie's hand is genius. I still laugh. Matches Pennywise so well. And then the chorus. What are we doing? Where did they come up with this? It's perfect. It's crazy and fun and upbeat, and the lyrics summarize the movie so well, and the vocals, the vocal performance is phenomenal. The horns are back and have this beautiful sweeping melody, and then the da 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 da. The part that gets us into that chorus is just so perfect. And then the ending. The orchestra comes in full force to deliver us to the end, and it legit feels like floating. It's so well written that the music actually seems to fly. And then it's over, leaving you with that haunting echo, like it's just ringing in the sewer pipes. So yeah, I like this album a lot. Even its weakest track is better than most pop music, and its strongest tracks are just tour de forces of virtuosity and composition. I'm so glad that Ice Nine Kills went with this direction to take their music, and that they received success from it. They clearly made a product that they were passionate about and they could just pour their hearts into, and it shows. In fact, it did so well, they made a second one. I'll do that at some point, maybe. I want to tackle some other albums first. So yeah, go practice.